A claim has been spreading rapidly across YouTube and social media that Voyager 1 recently turned around in deep space and made a discovery scientists can't explain. It sounds urgent. It sounds like breaking news. And according to NASA's own current mission updates, it simply isn't true. So what's the real story behind Voyager 1 right now? And where did this specific viral claim actually come from? This is the real, verified story of what Voyager 1 is actually doing today, straight from NASA's own published mission updates. If you want the real, verified science behind viral space headlines, hit subscribe now, because we separate genuine discoveries from misinformation every single week. Let's start with the actual current status of Voyager 1, because understanding where this spacecraft really is right now matters before we get into where this false turnaround claim originated. Launched in 1977, Voyager 1 remains the most distant human-made objectee in existence, and after nearly 50 years of continuous operation, it's still functioning, still transmitting data back to Earth, and still approaching a genuinely significant milestone. According to NASA's own calculations, Voyager 1 is set to reach a distance of exactly 1 light day from Earth on November 18, 2026, at 2:16 in the morning Pacific time. At that specific moment, a radio signal traveling at the speed of light, the fastest anything can move in our universe, will take a full 24 hours just to reach the spacecraft, meaning any command sent from Earth and its resulting reply would together take a full 48 hours to complete a single round trip. That milestone alone represents a genuinely remarkable achievement, one NASA has been documenting through its regular mission, updates throughout 2026. Here's exactly why claims about Voyager 1 suddenly turning around and discovering something inexplicable don't match anything in these actual official updates. Like this video right now if you want the real, sourced facts, rather than another viral rumor. According to a mission update NASA published in April of 2026, engineers at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory made the deliberate decision to shut down Voyager 1's low-energy charged particles instrument, specifically to conserve the spacecraft's steadily diminishing power supply. At the time of that shutdown, Voyager 1 was already more than 15 billion miles from Earth, meaning the command sequence needed to execute this shutdown took approximately 23 hours just to arrive, with the shutdown process itself then taking more than 3 additional hours to complete. That's the genuine, documented reality of operating a spacecraft this far from home, a slow, deliberate, carefully managed process, focused on conserving limited remaining power, not a sudden, dramatic turnaround, producing an inexplicable new discovery. Don't forget to subscribe before we get into exactly where this specific viral claim actually originated, because tracing it back reveals a genuinely concerning pattern in how space misinformation gets manufactured and spread. The specific turned-around claim traces back to a network of content websites and YouTube channels that have published a consistent stream of similarly dramatic, unverified space headlines throughout 2025 and 2026. One such outlet directly published articles carrying headlines like, NASA just spotted an intruder in the solar system, and it's carrying alien life, alongside other similarly sensational claims about black holes and distant planets, none of which are supported by any legitimate NASA Publicatio N or peer-reviewed scientific research. Another website specifically addressed this exact. Voyager claimed directly, explicitly stating that despite viral headlines claiming Voyager 1 turned around or discovered something impossible, there is no verified evidence that the spacecraft physically turned around, or that it made any unexplained discovery matching these specific dramatic claims. That's a genuinely important, telling detail. Even some of the outlets originally involved in spreading versions of this story have subsequently acknowledged in their own published corrections that the underlying claim doesn't hold up against any actual verifiable evidence. Here's where this specific turned-around framing likely originated from a genuine, real historical event, one that's simply been recycled and stripped of its actual context. Make sure you're subscribed, because understanding this connection reveals exactly how misinformation often works, by taking something real and distorting it into something false. Voyager 1 genuinely did turn around once during its entire mission, but that event happened back in February of 1990, over 3.5 decades ago, not recently, and certainly not within the past few minutes or hours, as these viral headlines specifically claim. At the urging of astronomer Carl Sagan, NASA commanded Voyager 1 to rotate its cameras back toward the inner solar system for one final photograph, capturing the famous pale blue dot image showing Earth as a tiny, barely visible speck of light suspended within a scattered beam of sunlight. Just 34 minutes after capturing that final image, Voyager 1's cameras were permanently powered down to conserve energy for its ongoing journey, and the spacecraft has never taken another photograph since. That's the genuine, historically documented turnaround event associated with Voyager 1. An emotionally resonant, scientifically significant moment that happened decades ago, thoroughly documented in NASA's own historical records, and in Sagan's own writing about the experience. It bears no resemblance to the specific claim currently circulating online that the spacecraft recently turned around and made some kind of new, unexplained discovery. Voyager 1's cameras have been completely inactive since 1990, meaning the spacecraft is physically incapable of turning around to photograph anything today, even if engineers wanted it to. It's also worth understanding what Voyager 1 is actually capable of doing today, since the spacecraft's real. Current scientific instruments differ significantly from what it carried during its original active imaging mission. Due to years of careful power management, only a small number of Voyager ER1's original scientific instruments remain operational today. The spacecraft's magnetometer, measuring surrounding magnetic fields, and its plasma wave subsystem, detecting oscillations in the thin, charged particles surrounding it in interstellar space, represent the primary instruments still providing genuine scientific data back to Earth. These instruments have produced real, legitimate scientific findings over the years, including detecting persistent plasma wave activity and unexpected magnetic field alignments at the boundary of our solar system, discoveries published in respected, peer-reviewed journals like Nature Astronomy and Science. These genuine, verified findings deserve a closer look, since they represent exactly the kind of legitimate, fascinating Voyager science that gets overshadowed by fabricated claims of dramatic turnarounds. Back in 2021, a Cornell University researcher named Stella Koch-Ocker discovered a persistent, previously undetected hum within Voyager 1's plasma wave data, a continuous, faint signal distinct from the occasional, sporadic bursts triggered by solar shock waves that scientists had already documented years earlier. That ongoing signal has allowed researchers to measure the density of interstellar plasma far more precisely and consistently than ever before, though scientists still don't have a complete, agreed-upon physical model fully explaining exactly what generates this specific, continuous emission. Separately, when Voyager 1 first crossed into interstellar space back in 2012, researchers discovered something else genuinely unexpected. Rather than the sun's magnetic field pointing in a dramatically different direction compared to the broader interstellar magnetic field, as most theoretical models had predicted, the two appeared closely aligned, suggesting the boundary of our solar system behaves in a considerably more complex way than scientists had originally modeled. And more recently, researchers have documented unexpected increases in both plasma density and magnetic field strength recorded over roughly the past 5 years, changes that remain an active area of ongoing scientific investigation and analysis. Every one of these genuine findings represents real, published, peer-reviewed science, thoroughly documented with specified dates, specific research teams, and specific journal citations. None of them resemble the vague, unsourced claim currently circulating online about a recent turnaround and an unexplained new discovery. If anything, the genuine complexity and continued mystery surrounding Voyager 1's real scientific findings, the unexplained plasma hum, the unexpectedly aligned magnetic fields, the recent unexplained density spikes, illustrates that authentic scientific uncertainty already exists around this spacecraft's data, without requiring any fabrication or exaggeration to make the story genuinely compelling. Here's precisely why distinguishing between these genuine, documented scientific findings and the currently circulating misinformation matters so much. Make sure you're subscribed, because understanding this distinction protects you from being misled by content specifically designed to generate clicks rather than to inform. Voyager 1's actual scientific team, based at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, communicates genuine mission updates and discoveries through official NASA channels, including the agency's own website, official mission blog updates, and peer-reviewed scientific publications. These official sources describe real, ongoing findings in careful, appropriately measured scientific language, discussing specific plasma wave measurements, specific magnetic field observations, and specific instrument power management decisions, all thoroughly documented with exact dates, exact technical details, and exact scientific context. That's fundamentally different from vague, dramatic claims about a spacecraft turning around and discovering something inexplicable, presented without any specific technical details, without any citation to actual mission data, and without any connection to Voyager 1's actual current, well-documented operational status. It's worth understanding why content following this specific pattern, dramatic claims about legitimate, genuinely fascinating spacecraft, continues appearing across multiple websites and video channels. Voyager 1 represents genuinely compelling subject matter, humanity's most distant spacecraft, still functioning after nearly 50 years, approaching a genuinely remarkable one light day milestone in November of 2026. That authentic scientific significance makes it an attractive target for content specifically designed to attach dramatic, unverified claims to an object audiences already recognize as scientifically important, borrowing legitimate interest in real Voyager science to generate engagement for entirely fabricated additional claims. There's a valuable, practical lesson here for evaluating any similarly dramatic space headline going forward. When you encounter a claim about a spacecraft or space discovery that sounds urgent, uses countdown style, framing like minutes ago, and lacks any specific citation to an actual NASA publication, peer-reviewed journal, or verifiable official source, that absence of concrete sourcing itself represents a significant red flag. Legitimate scientific discoveries, including genuinely remarkable ones from missions like Voyager 1, are always documented through specific, traceable channels: official NASA mission updates, peer-reviewed journal publications, or direct statements from named credentialed researchers involved in the actual research. Let's take a moment to appreciate what Voyager 1 is genuinely accomplishing right now, since the real, verified story is arguably just as remarkable as any fabricated claim, without requiring any exaggeration at all. A spacecraft built using 1970s technology, with computing power and memory considerably more modest than what exists in any modern smartphone, continues operating today, nearly 50 years after launch, at a distance so extreme that commands and responses now require a full day merely to travel one direction. Engineers at NASA continue carefully managing its steadily diminishing power supply, making deliberate, well-documented decisions about which instruments to keep active and which to power down, precisely to extend the spacecraft's functional lifespan as long as scientifically possible. That ongoing, carefully managed operation, rather than any sudden dramatic turnaround or inexplicable new discovery, represents Voyager 1's genuine current reality. NASA's own April 2026 mission update, describing the specific process of shutting down the low-energy charged particles instrument, provides a perfect example of exactly how this real, ongoing management actually works. Methodical, carefully documented, and entirely consistent with everything scientists have understood about this spacecraft's operations for years, rather than representing any kind of sudden, unexplained event. For anyone who encountered headlines claiming Voyager 1 recently turned around and made an inexplicable discovery, the actual verified answer is straightforward. That specific claim is false, appearing to originate from content specifically designed to generate engagement by attaching dramatic, unverified language to a spacecraft whose genuine, real accomplishments are already remarkable enough to warrant serious attention. NASA's own official, regularly updated mission information confirms Voyager 1's actual status, still operating, still approaching its genuinely significant one light day milestone in November of 2026, still providing real scientific data through its remaining active instruments without any credible evidence supporting claims of a recent turnaround or an unexplained new finding. Let's take a closer look at exactly why Voyager 1's power situation has become such a central recurring theme in its genuine current mission updates, because understanding this reveals why NASA's real, documented decisions look so different from the dramatic narrative found in viral misinformation. Both Voyager spacecraft are powered by radioisotope thermoelectric generators, devices that convert heat released by the natural radioactive decay of plutonium-238 directly into electricity. That heat source doesn't require sunlight, which is essential given how far both spacecraft have traveled from the sun, but it does steadily, losing a small percentage of its power generating capacity every single year. A completely natural, well-understood physical process, rather than any sudden mysterious event. NASA's engineering team has spent years carefully managing that steady, predictable power decline, methodically shutting down individual scientific instruments in a specific, planned order designed to preserve the most scientifically valuable instruments for as long as possible, while maintaining just enough power to keep the spacecraft's core systems, including its ability to communicate with Earth, functioning normally. The low-energy charged particles instrument shutdown described in NASA's April 2026 update represents simply the latest step in this same years-long carefully planned process, one NASA has documented consistently and transparently through its regular public mission updates. It's also worth understanding a bit more about the genuinely remarkable technical achievement involved in simply maintaining communication with Voyager 1 at its current extreme distance. As the spacecraft continues moving farther from Earth, the strength of the radio signals it can transmit back home grows correspondingly weaker, following the same basic physics governing why a flashlight appears dimmer the farther away you view it from. NASA's Deep Space Network, a system of massive radio antennas positioned at 3 locations around the globe, specifically in California, Spain, and Australia, ensuring continuous coverage as Earth rotates, provides the extraordinarily sensitive equipment necessary to detect and interpret Voyager 1's increasingly faint signal, even as it continues growing weaker with each passing year. The Deep Space Network infrastructure represents its own significant ongoing engineering achievement, one that receives considerably less public attention than dramatic viral misinformation, despite being essential to Voyager 1's continued operation at all. Without this sophisticated, continuously maintained ground-based infrastructure, humanity would have lost the ability to communicate with Voyager 1 years ago, regardless of how much power remained available aboard the spacecraft itself. There's also a valuable, broader pattern worth recognizing in how genuine NASA mission updates typically get communicated, compared to the pattern found in viral misinformation networks. Official NASA updates regarding Voyager 1 consistently include specific, verifiable details, exact dates, specific instrument names, precise power and distance measurements, and clear explanations of the underlying engineering reasoning behind each decision. Content spreading false claims about dramatic turnarounds and inexplicable discoveries typically lacks this kind of specific, verifiable detail entirely, relying instead on vague, emotionally evocative language designed to generate curiosity and engagement without providing any actual checkable information. That difference in communication style itself offers a valuable practical tool for evaluating any future space-related claims you might encounter. Genuine scientific findings, even genuinely surprising or remarkable ones, are consistently communicated with specific, traceable detail. Claims lacking that kind of specificity, especially ones built around urgent, countdown-style framing, deserve significantly more scrutiny before being accepted or shared further. Looking ahead toward Voyager 1's actual upcoming milestone, NASA has continued providing detailed and specific updates, leading up to the spacecraft's 1 light day distance marker in November of 2026. That genuine milestone, a spacecraft launched using 1970s technology, reaching a distance where simple radio communication requires a full day merely to travel one direction, represents an authentic, remarkable achievement worth genuine attention and celebration, without requiring any exaggeration, embellishment, or fabricated claims about turnarounds and inexplicable discoveries to make it scientifically significant. If this story helped you separate real, verified space science from viral misinformation, make sure you're subscribed, because we check the biggest space headlines every single week. Drop a comment, letting me know what other viral space claims you'd like us to investigate and verify, and I'll see you in the next video.